Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at a comic that's well, it's kind of holiday special.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but also like really not.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we're looking at the 1995 Spider-Man holiday special.
Okay.
And we've got the original comic right here. Obviously, we always have our sources. And we also pulled a synopsis from a comic book database.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going to figure out just how this superhero story manages to deal with themes of hope and resilience during the holiday season.
And that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a downer than you might expect from a holiday special.
Okay, I'm intrigued now.
So the story takes place on Christmas Eve
Okay.
in New York City, and it's snowy and, festive, but Spider-Man's out on patrol and he's feeling kind of lonely. Yeah, like everyone else is, inside with their families and celebrating, and
Makes sense.
and he's out there, swinging around by himself.
Mm-hmm. Keeping everyone safe.
Exactly. Like he even stops some muggers who are harassing this elderly couple.
Wow, even on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, crime doesn't take a holiday, right?
I guess not.
But then things get really heavy because Spidey spots this young woman. Her name is Jenny Sheridan, and she jumps off a bridge.
Oh, wow. That's pretty intense for a holiday special.
Yeah, and it turns out that she's dealing with like a lot of really tough stuff.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, she got evicted from her apartment,
Oh, no.
and her writing career is like totally tanking.
This is
and-
rough.
Yeah, and it's Christmas Eve, so all those feelings of failure and isolation are like amplified,
Right, because everyone else seems so happy and she's like,
Exactly. Alone and feeling like a total failure.
yeah, that's a really powerful way to ground the story,
Yeah, it makes her really relatable,
Right, like even though she's not a superhero, she's going through something that a lot of people experience.
especially during the holidays. But it's interesting that Spider-Man, like, even though he's got his own stuff going on, he still takes the time to try and connect with Jenny.
Yeah, like you'd think he'd be too busy or too caught up in his own problems.
Right, but he, like, sees her pain and understands it.
That kind of makes me think about that whole clone saga thing.
Oh, yeah.
He went through some pretty dark times there.
For sure. Like, I don't want to get too deep into that whole storyline, but
Right.
it definitely seems like he can relate to Jenny's despair.
Yeah, and that shared understanding is like really important to the story.
Totally. It makes him more human,
Exactly. Like he's not just some untouchable superhero. He's someone who's been through tough times and knows what it's like to struggle.
And then, as if things weren't already intense enough, the story throws in a villain.
Oh, who is it this time?
You ever heard of Scorcher?
Scorcher. Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, he's not exactly like a top-tier Spider-Man villain.
Okay.
But basically, he's got this suit that gives him heat-based powers.
Oh.
Yeah, but he's using them to rob stores on Christmas Eve.
Seriously, what a Grinch.
Right. Like everyone else is out there Christmas shopping, and he's just like...
Ruining everyone's holiday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's clearly meant to represent like the opposite of Spider-Man and Jenny.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like he's all about selfishness and greed while they're...
Trying to do good.
Right, even though they're struggling themselves.
And then there's this really cool turning point during the fight with Scorcher. Well, Jenny ends up saving a bystander from getting caught in the crossfire.
Oh, wow. So she goes from wanting to end her own life to...
Saving someone else's.
That's amazing.
Right. And it's like Spider-Man's heroism inspired her to act even though she was still feeling lost and hopeless.
That's such a powerful message for a holiday story.
Yeah, it's like even when things are at their worst, we can still find the strength to help others.
And in doing so, maybe we end up helping ourselves too.
Exactly. It's like a reminder that we're not alone in our struggles and that even small acts of kindness can make a difference.
So how does the story end?
Well, Spider-Man defeats Scorcher, of course.
Okay, good.
And Jenny decides to embrace her newfound purpose.
So it's a happy ending.
It's not like super cheerful,
Right.
But it's hopeful. Like both Spider-Man and Jenny find a sense of peace in their own ways.
That's nice.
Yeah. I think it's because it's a really well-written story with relatable characters and like a good balance of action and emotional depth.
And the artwork is pretty great too.
Right. It's really expressive and captures the mood of the story perfectly.
Even if Scorcher isn't like the most memorable villain.
Yeah, he's kind of forgettable.
But he serves his purpose in highlighting that contrast between selfishness and selflessness.
Absolutely.
So I guess the big takeaway here is that even superheroes have moments of loneliness and doubt.
Especially during the holidays.
Right. So if even Spider-Man can struggle during the holiday season, what does that mean for the rest of us?
That's a good question.
Like, what can we do to spread hope and make a difference when we're feeling lost or alone?
I think it starts with small acts of kindness.
Yeah, like checking in on a friend who might be struggling.
Or volunteering our time to help those in need.
Or even just being a little more patient and understanding with the people around us.
Exactly, because you never know what someone else might be going through.
So true.
And sometimes the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact.
Well said. So if you're feeling inspired to check out some more Spider-Man stories, there are tons of great ones out there.
Yeah, he's got a pretty amazing comic book history.
You might be surprised by how much heart and depth you can find in these stories.
Definitely give them a read.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays!